Welcome. We are back again. That's right, the OJ Power Hour coming to you live and maybe a tad bit behind schedule, but you know what? We're still here. I am joined once again by my good friend and yours, Mr. Jay Scheidel, as my co-host, and we are just going to get right into this because, man, I'm happy for this. It's going to be a great one. We have Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer. Jay, you excited?
Yeah,
I'm excited.
definitely. Mystic Quest is like a long time that I played, so yes, I was so fun to see this randomizer and have these two on to talk to us.
It's great to
Yes.
be here. Thanks for having us.
It is our absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. So I
Go-
guess
Going with Classic
go ahead,
Gamer,
Jay.
yeah, it's on time for me. It's 9 o'clock.
Well, I mean, listen, I'll take the blame for this one. Jay took the blame last week for the internet issues. I'll take the blame this week. So you know what?
Mhm.
Fair is fair. Fair is fair.
But
But
yeah,
enough
so
enough about our problems because we could go on forever. But we're here to talk about Mystic Quest Randomizer and the amazing thing that it is. I mean, I know personally, me growing up, I remember Mystic Quest as being that game where you could die at the first boss every time.
Some still do.
I was gonna say, have we fixed that?
Speedrunners tell horror stories. As a matter of fact, I think we made a troll, true form of Dark King, just to give those runners PTSD.
Beautiful. Oh
nice.
yeah, that was great.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about Mystic Quest and then about the randomizer behind it. How'd you guys get started with this? What is all this about?
Damn, this is your baby. Do you want to kick it off since you're the one who made it?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been working with FFR for a while and wanted to try something new. And Mystic Quest is like is a game that meant a lot for my childhood. Uh, I played it a lot. I know it's not perfect, but I have fond memory of it. And I kind of knew that there was some good potential for a randomizer there, and yeah, that's why I decided to get started on this, and here we are.
Yeah, I found out about the randomizer via a GDQ hotfix with Link-A-Lot and Kedril about 3-4 years ago now. And I saw them run it, and I was like, "That's awesome! Let me check it out." And I found out about the other randomizer that is not this one first, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't what I saw." But I did finally stumble my way into the correct randomizer, and I picked it up, started playing for a while, and then eventually joined the SGL tournament that year, and have been basically running the game since then. So it's been like 3 years and some change. I've been playing the randomizer, seeing it grow from there. It's been great though. It's like it was such a young randomizer when I hopped into the community, and seeing all the changes and all the new features be added and all the quality of life adjustments that Ham's made throughout the way has been fantastic. Like I think the biggest one that everybody was hyped for was you taking out the cutscene of watching Lava Dome explode and the lava flow. Like everybody was like, "What? Hey, what? You could do that?"
Yeah, gotta go fast. No time to
Yeah,
stop for a cutscene.
yeah.
Nice.
We don't even have time to kick off the game properly in the randomizer. Ben's town just sinks into the ground. It's like, cool, no behemoth fight. Let's just go, just
Just
go.
go. Well,
But you gotta
I
remove that fight. Gotta remove that fight.
eh,
Mm-hmm.
I do have the site up here, so while we're talking about some of the changes and the things that have happened with it, what are all of the options? Like, what have you guys randomized? What has changed? What can you do in the randomizer?
Oh man, that's
Uh,
yeah. You take it. There's a lot.
I'll get started, and you can pick up the stuff after that. Well, yeah, well, the main thing is, of course, you have the item randomization. So so that's pretty basic. We got progressive gear, which a bit like the Link to the Past randomizer. You get your gear in the order of power. And we got our own shard mode also for the access to the end game. And on the enemy side, I think hebinx, you are a bit more. It's a bit more your stuff.
Yeah. No, I'll take it from here. So for enemy scaling, it's segmented out in two sections. So you have your regular mobs, which is, everything that you encounter in dungeons or at battlefields. And then boss scaling is for all your mini bosses and your big four fights at, P Tower, Ice Pyramid, etc. And you can scale those within ranges. So instead of just being like everything's 75% of what it is in vanilla, everything's 100% of what it is, you can set a range that's randomized from all the way down to 25%, all the way up to 300%. For anybody starting, I don't recommend the 300% setting. It'll be frustrating. It's not a great introductory experience. If you scroll back up to the top, though, yeah, exactly. If you scroll up to the top, though, there is a neat little feature that's built into the site called presets. I highly recommend the beginner preset. And if you toggle that on, you can't change it in the settings. But what it does is it loads up a very beginner-friendly setting here. And it kind of shows you like starting settings for if you want to start the randomizer, but you're feeling a little overwhelmed. And then, of course, as you go through, you can click it back to custom. But we also have settings here like enemizer attacks. And what an enemizer is you essentially change what the enemies attack you with. If it's set to disabled, everything will be vanilla. But we have script shuffle, which takes enemies' attack scripts and shuffles them amongst each other. We have balanced, which is pretty friendly. We have balance expert, which leans heavier into damage and status ailments that scale up a little faster to kind of give you more of a challenge. Then there's chaos, which enemies can cast heal on you, which inflicts every status ailment in the game, and they can multicast it. They can duplicate. So we've had duplicating Dark King. Chaos is chaos. Anybody can have everything. Like 6 different enemies can have king webs, which are awful. And then for the meme category, because every randomized got to have a meme category, self-destruct is there, which every enemy self-destructs. If you don't know how that works in Mystic Quest, basically when an enemy self-destructs on you, they will also die, but they will inflict onto you their max HP total minus your defense. So if an enemy's got 800 HP and they hit you, you'll take like 700 something damage. So that's a fun one. And then we also have the progressive enemizer, which kind of scales up the attacks by region, kind of curves them a little bit. So if you're looking for more of a balanced experience, there's that. And then one of my favorite settings personally is the shuffle and weakness types resistance. So let's say you have a tree. Tree enemies are weak to fire, right? If the resistances are shuffled, anything that's weak to fire could be weak to, let's say, explosive damage. So now you could blow up trees for extra damage, but they'll take normal damage from fire. Makes perfect logical sense.
Like weakness to explosives?
Yeah, you'd think.
You would think, but in Mystic Quest, axes is an element. So axe is an element. And bomb is an element. Oh, and projectile or shoot is an element. So, the big elemental cycle of earth, wind, water, fire, bomb, axe, and bows and arrows and shurikens. The old hat classic.
Yeah, works.
Yep, that's true.
Exactly. And then you can adjust the enemy densities. So for anybody not familiar, Mystic Quest doesn't have random encounters. You see all your encounters on the maps. So you can set that to 0 and fight no monsters in dungeons and only level up through battlefields, or you can crank that sucker all the way up to 100% and just slog through it like vanilla, and you can shuffle their positions. And Ham, I'm sure you got a story or two about the position shuffle, but I don't think we've had any issues with position shuffle for a long time. I think we had it 1 or 2 locations where enemies could place themselves right in front of doors and you couldn't leave from a room unless you walk out and walk back in, but there's an enemy right there in the way. But I still love... Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it doesn't happen as much now, and yeah, we used to have the enemies also spawning outside the map, which you'd have them outside just taunting you, well protected.
Just literally out of bounds. Yeah. Oh, although I still think I see some fish stranded up on pillars you can't reach from time to time in Falls Basin, but that's a feature. They're just being sun-dried.
Always.
Out of bounds bat. Yep, just like out of bounds bat. Was about to say the same thing.
There you go. And then You can set formations by progression. So again, you can stagger out the enemies you encounter based on the region of the game you're in. And then, I mean, we've been talking for like 10 minutes just about the enemy shuffling. That's like such a huge feature. And then the maps, you did such a good job with this map shuffle. I was so over the moon when you added overworld shuffle to the game. You have no idea. That was such a cool feature you put in. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, you can get away with it. I mean, the other world of Mythic Quest, if you play the game, it's all you cannot move freely around. It's all hubs that you need to go from one to the other on the railroad, and so this make them like really easy to just shuffle them around. So the whole map is completely different for each playthrough. So yeah, that's really nice and it works well.
Cool.
Yeah, and then that little checkbox under there that says Doom Castle shortcut literally adds a staircase from the bottom of Focus Tower to the final dungeon. So there's a Skycoin setting that says start with Skycoin. You can literally toggle start with Skycoin in Doom Castle shortcut and sprint as soon as you start the game to the final boss. I don't recommend it because he hurts, but it's possible. And it actually makes for a really interesting seed setting, which I call gear up and go, which is essentially you have to scavenge for everything as fast as possible to what you think will be good enough to kill the final boss. And then you just run straight to the end. You're like, I think I got this. And depending on your settings, you might not, because Dark King is, he's a whole other beast. By the way, that we didn't even talk about that in the enemy settings, but you patched that. What made you decide to patch that glitch out?
Which one?
For Dark King Cure.
Oh, I mean, it's so unfair if you have cure. Come on.
Yeah.
You get to have a challenge. It's the end boss.
Do y'all know about the Dark King Cure glitch?
No,
I
what's
do.
up?
So
I don't.
The speed run uses it, and essentially what it happens is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ham, I'll try to speak to it. But you cast Cure on Dark King within a certain level range, and you'll like underflow his HP. And then you cast Cure on him again, and if for some reason does damage. So you basically two-shot Dark King by casting Cure on him. You skip that entire boss fight. The final boss fight, the big climactic finish, is just done in 2 moves.
2 cures.
Yep.
Yep.
Precursor.
So
to
that's been
Phoenix Down
patched
on the
out.
Phantom Train.
Yeah, except imagine doing it on Kefka instead.
Yeah, imagine finishing the game like that.
I love it.
Yeah, like first floor of Kefka, you just like life and done. So yeah, that's no longer a feature. And we also have tweak frustrating dungeons, which I know y'all's experience is a little limited with Mystic Quest, but there's a couple dungeons in the game that just had really, really annoying design elements, like giant tree, because everybody hates tree, and having to go through that tree and cutting down every single mushroom, every single step. The mushrooms have been thinned out. Ice Pyramid, the first floor is not nearly as annoying to navigate now. There's like little shortcuts cut out. And Pazuzu's Tower doesn't have enemies on the staircase anymore. So huge quality of life improvements there.
I did my AP seed because I remember cutting out all the mushrooms.
Oh no! Yeah,
Nice job, Jake.
I don't think anybody runs the randomizer with that toggle off anymore. It's like a permanent feature, but I love the fact that it's an option.
I clicked random buttons when I did it. I'm like, this is fun. Let's just go. And
That's the same way you play FFR.
Yeah, real talk. FFR's like seed setup menu scares me. Like it's just there's so many options in FFR.
Yeah,
So many. This is a little more beginner friendly for a randomizer, especially with the layout and everything. It's very intuitive. Overworld shuffle, like we just talked about. Crest shuffle's fun. So all the little warps that you can take in the game with the crests are the locations and what crests are required are shuffled up. So what used to be a Mobius crest can now be a Gemini or a Libra, and it could take you to a completely different place. So those are always fun. And then the map shuffle is actually just got a recent update, which we're using for our new tournament flag set.
nice.
So we had Dungeons Internals, which was just added. So just take a dungeon and shuffle the floors up amongst that dungeon itself. Okay. That's like our entry level to like the dungeon shuffle mechanic, for the randomizer, and it's very beginner friendly. You don't have to take notes. You know that you are going to be in this location somewhere. It's not going to be how you remember it being. Then we have dungeons mixed, which takes multiple different dungeons and shuffles the floors up amongst them. So you could be an ice pyramid and then walk through a door and suddenly you're in bone dungeon. You're like, what? Where am I? And then we have first floor lava dome, which I call the door nexus because there's 8 or 9 entrances on just that floor. And then lastly, there's everything shuffle. So you could be like 6 doors deep into a dungeon and suddenly you found a town that's just hanging out in here that has a check that you need to come back for because your partner needs to come back in here. That one's like take note sanity. But that one's great.
Yeah, so at the installer of FFR, the maps in Mythicus, there's a bit more loops in them. So even when you shuffle the floor, it gets very confusing really quickly. They're a bit more extreme than what you get with FFR, even with the full floor shuffle.
Yeah. That sounds ridiculous and amazing all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I've seen Chanigan run basically Nova World, and if I feel like Nova World's the closest equivalent that FFR has to everything shuffle for Mystic Quest, because it's like you walk out of an entrance and suddenly you're like, what? Where am I now? What is this place? Why door? So that's the feeling I get from that setting.
The question is, do you have it like Link to the Past, where if you go back through that door, it can take you to a different location?
God, no, not yet. At least
it's coming. Now it's coming. Now it's done.
I'm pretty sure there's a setting in Link to the Past where each entrance is its own way. So if you go back out, that's a different entrance. So it goes to a different floor.
That sounds like insanity.
I think it is.
Oh, jeez. Companions are another thing that we can tweak in the game. So you get 4 companions. You can start with none of them, so you can go solo at the beginning, or you can pick who you start with, pick a random companion, or random plus none. Depends on your flavor of adventure there. And then you can actually limit how many companions you have available. This one's a really cool feature. So like you could just make it to where you are randomly afforded, like you can't take Phoebe with you this seed. She just won't join your party. Or make it to where you can only take Ruben with you through the entire game, which is
people love that one.
Hey, look, Possum rolled that seed for some beginners. Like they're intermediate. I was like, you're pushing the learning curve there, bud, making them do Ruben only. But yeah, he's and companion for sure. You can also randomize that feature too. So you can do random 1 through 4 or random 0 through 4. So you could have a role to be a no companion seed. And you have to beat the game solo, which is doable.
Doable, but I'm sure that's not great.
Or fun.
Not ideal. Not unless you're rolling like low statuses on enemies. Enemy location, companion locations can be shuffled too. So shuffled makes it to where like normally you find Tristram in Sand Temple. If you shuffle the locations, now you'll find Phoebe in Sand Temple or Ruben in Sand Temple. Shuffled Extended is hilarious. So all the random little temples and spots in the game that really didn't have a purpose before, like Rope Bridge or like the little secret alcoves in the temples, yeah, now your companions can be there. So like specifically, I remember someone posted the other day in Cage Temple, there's a hidden wall that goes to a ledge that has no use. There's like no chest or anything up there. There's just like hidden wall, like path that takes you to that ledge, and you can have a companion land there. Like they'll just be chilling. And if you haven't played the game and like found that ledge, you're like, how do I get to you? How do I find you? So it really breathes some life into these locations that are otherwise kind of useless. Kaylee's mom fight Minotaur might be raising some eyebrows. I'll explain. So if you shuffle your companions locations, Kaylee can end up in some weird spots, but you obviously want to get the check with Treeweather to get her items. Instead of having to go find Kaylee in whatever location she landed in, then go do her checks, you can just hand the items off to her mom in Foresta, and she'll go do the checks for you. So she'll get poisoned by Minotaur, and she'll have to go and to Windia Inn and hand you the items. And Ham, I think you've done a great job with the alternate character dialogue, if I do say so myself.
I had a little fun, yeah.
You'll have to play the randomizer to find out for yourself, but a lot of characters have some unique dialogue in the randomizer. You might see some a little bit later if I get to show off some of the flag set settings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then leveling type. So normally in the game, your companions, when you got them, they were at fixed levels and they never changed. They never leveled up. Ben was the only person leveled up. Well, we've adjusted that. Quests means that you've taken your companions to their locations where they get their level up or their next forms in the game. So, for instance, Phoebe, you take her to Wintery Cave, and then where she would normally hand you the cat claw, she hands you an item, and then you take her to, you meet her again at the Windy Inn, and she's like the next tier up, and at that point, you level up, and she hits her second range. And Quest Extended, what it is it gives you an objective list. So if you actually want to click over to the footage here.
Whoop, let's string it on me. There we go.
There we go.
Too many buttons back here. We are professional. I just turned Oz's camera off. There we go.
There we go.
That's not the first time you've done that, and won't be the last, I'm
Not
sure.
gonna be the last either.
So here's some of that flavor dialogue right there.
Nice.
Very good.
But if you come into game info, you have your quest screen. So this was a seed I rolled for fun last week. It has the chaos spellbook type, which you can also shuffle your companion spellbooks. You can do what's called standard, what they have in vanilla, extended, which is what they have in vanilla plus what they should have. Random balance, which is just a random shuffling. And then you have random chaos, which is like, cool, you can have one spell or no spells. Good luck. You can have like 20 spells. It's, chaos. But these quests here are objectives you have to meet to raise your companion's level by 6 to 7 levels. So all your companions start at level 7, and every time you meet one of these objectives, they go up by like 7 or 6 levels to their next tier. After you complete all 4 objectives, you get a tier, like a level 41 companion, which is higher than they would be in vanilla for all 4 of them. And they get some pretty cool stats. So like Tristram here, who used to be the mean character, breaks the speed limit quite literally. Oh. So in vanilla, normally you can only max out at 99 speed, but because Tristram has equipment that gives him plus 10 to his speed, this black robe here, he can just go to 109. So for seeds that require you to have a companion that you're basically guaranteed to go first, Tristram's now a viable pick. Like, he's a useful option for once. And then we also, since we're about to move on to other anyways, I can show this off. So in the next section down, we have an option for hint NPCs, and this is our new hint NPC. The community voted. His name is Mog. Everybody say hi to Mog.
Hi, Mog.
And when you talk to Mog, he will offer to sell you a hint. And we have a couple of settings for that. The first is free, or none, so you can turn off Mog. The next is free, so Mog will just give you a hint if you ask for it. And then we have fixed prices and we have progressive prices. So the progressive prices, let's say you pick 250 GP. The first hint will cost 250 GP. The next hint will be 500. The third hint will be 750. The last hint will cost you 1,000 GP. So it actually adds a use for money outside of dump all of money into seed vendor to get as many seeds as possible. So it adds another use for a resource in the game, which is super awesome, in my opinion. And then we also have, if I walk out of town here like a scrub, instead of exiting out, you'll see the battlefields here are not the vanilla green color. That's because we have a setting to shuffle battlefield rewards. And when we were going through here, Ham initially had these set to be color coded. So gray battlefields would net you XP, blue battlefields would net you items, and then green battlefields would net you money. But then we realized that if you're color deficient, i.e. you're blue-green color deficient, you can't tell at a glance what the reward is, because they all had this vanilla sword X right here.
Yeah.
So we worked with the community, and we had a couple great sprite artists work with the rest of us and Ham to essentially get these new sprites created. So you now see that the green battlefields not only are green to indicate they have money, but they actually literally have a money bag on the sprite.
That's cool.
Blue battlefields, if I hadn't cleared them all out here, would have a treasure chest on the battlefield. And then we left the vanilla X because X for XP just made sense.
Yeah.
So, just another way that we could make the game more accessible past what it was in vanilla, because, if you were color deficient, this setting would be really, really frustrating. You can also adjust your leveling curve. So like you can level at vanilla rate. You can actually level up at half vanilla rate. So basically make it to where you level up. Some people love to suffer. There's some people who run some really difficult flag sets, and I'm like, why? I'm like, I just like to challenge. Like, you know what, fair game. Yeah, right?
Paging ale. Paging ale.
Right? And then you'll also notice that the battlefields have different quantities on them. In vanilla, you had to fight 10 fights every battlefield. You can randomize, so you can have 3 fights per battlefield, 1 fight, 5, 7, or random 1 through 10, or random 1 through 5. So a lot of tweaking available for the battlefields. There's also a setting on the site to make it towards mystery flags. So you can literally cook up some flags, toggle that, and then send the URL to a friend. And they have no idea what they're running until they fire up the ROM.
Always great.
Always fun.
That's a recent addition. It actually gives you a little warning too. It's like, as soon as you check this box, it cannot be undone until you refresh the page. So make sure everything's set before you hit the toggle. And then of course through your good old fashioned spoiler file. And then the last setting field we have here, because there's so many, we have the first option to randomize Ben's palette. So if you are running vanilla Ben, he comes in a bunch of fun, wacky colors that are tied to your seed, like your seed number. So we've seen some really cool colored Bens in the past. And then Ham enabled the feature to upload the community to create and upload custom character sprites. How many are we up to now, Ham?
I'm not sure exactly. I think we're close to 100 last I count. There's a lot of them. People have really been contributing to these, and they're great.
Yeah. Give that a scroll, Jay.
Yeah,
just show the chat. The fact that someone went through and made like Street Fighter sprites is awesome. Like, there's a crab, egg.
Oh my.
Egg.
Yeah, so a lot of really talented sprite creators. And fun fact, when you beat the game and you roll credits, the randomizer credits will come up first, and the credits will tell you who created the sprite that you were playing as. And then there's another setting in here to randomize Dark King's true form. So the community also got together, and phase 3 and 4 of Dark King can be shuffled to be different entities, like Death from Castlevania. And the credits will tell you who made that sprite and contributed it to the randomizer.
I'm only on the S's. Holy cow.
Yeah, there's so many sprites.
And yet I don't see a Setzer, so I'm depressed.
Wait, there's no Setzer?
I did maybe. Well, Jay's been going pretty fast. I didn't see it
because I started to go fast. I don't see Setzer. I see a Spencer.
No,
I see
you're right.
FF6.
No, there isn't.
Not yet.
Oh.
Community, I'm calling.
Control XZ's got his work cut out for him. He got Sabin in here.
Yeah, I saw. I know. You have yours. That's fun.
It's actually really hard to convert sprites from other Final Fantasies into this game because of the sprite palette limitations.
Yeah.
So
Makes
because
sense.
the cart ran on inferior version hardware, the capacity for the sprite palette's not as high as other games, unfortunately. But yeah, and then the preferences setting, the last thing we have in here is shuffle music. So you can mute the music entirely if you're a streamer. You want to play your own like Spotify music, or you can shuffle the tracks and just have hilarity ensue by having the game over music be the boss fight music, or you you walk into town and suddenly Dark King theme plays and like, what's happening? Uh, so, and then another great accessibility feature I want to call out is reduced battle flashes. So for anybody who's not familiar, every time you swing an axe or a sword in combat, or save a crystal, there would be flashing on screen, and some photosensitive folks voiced some concerns. It's like, yeah, no, we could totally remove the flashes from those animations, those effects. And even for those who aren't photosensitive, man, if I'm playing in this office and it's dark, I don't have the lights on, and suddenly I swing a sword, it's like flashbang for a frame, and like my eyes, why?
Yep.
So it's just a nice quality of life to turn on. And when I stream the game, I always turn it on just that way I'm kind to the audience. And there's more quality of life features coming down the pipe. Some more accessibility options have been brought up recently, and I believe those are in the works. Am I right?
Are you talking about the shaking thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't got time to look at this yet.
Yeah, the screen shake was brought up recently, and some folks were saying that it was making them nauseous / triggering their photosensitivity. So right now that's being looked into to potentially be either taken out or toned down to where it's not nearly as harsh on people.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Because we definitely want to make the game as accessible to everybody as possible, right? Like, you build these randomizers, you build these great community pieces, and let's say we have someone who really wants to play the game, but man, that shaking just makes it to where they can't play it. That's a bummer for us. That's someone we couldn't bring in to join the community.
Well, it's so much about like reliving your childhood or sharing it with someone else, just like being able to replay these games. And yeah, maybe that didn't affect you when you were 6. It does now.
Yeah.
Right. So, I being part of the development in terms of being able to offer my suggestions as a community member and test them in beta and like see those come into fruition and really kind of be implemented has been one of the big reasons why I just have loved this community and like stuck around playing the game for like 3 or 4 years now. It's because I feel like there's always something new coming down the pipe, and it's always something fun and exciting and a new twist on Mystic Quest that I've never seen before, and makes it more than just a baby RPG for babies. It definitely adds some complexity and breathes new life into the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just rolling through here, just doing some B-roll. You don't have to keep it on the screen
No,
if you don't want to.
Oh no, it's fantastic.
It's good to see the game again. It's good to just look at it. Like, I remember playing this, and like I said, I actually did an AP seed on it, but just seeing it again and going, I remember liking this game. Just so good on it. I believe you guys have is it speed gaming coming up, or is it a new player tournament, or is it like all of the above? Like, what events do you have? How do you get into this game?
Both, actually. So, in preparation for Speed Gaming Live, there is currently a new player kind of mini tournament being held together, which has 3 progressively difficult tiers of flag sets for players to work their way through to kind of familiarize themselves with the game in a short amount of time if they want to join the Speed Gaming Live tournament. And then, of course, we have the big SGL tournament, which we've been doing for like 4 or 5 years now. And that, let me pull up the doc. So officially signups are going until August 24th. So if you're interested in participating in the Mystic Quest Speed Gaming Live tournament, you have between July 21st, which was like last week and some change, to August 24th to enter, sign up. We have our first asynchronous qualifier from August 25th to August 28th. And then we have our first live qualifier race on August 27th, 9 p.m. East Coast time. So there's 4 qualifiers that you can participate in if you want to join. And you have to participate in 2 of the 4 qualifiers to place. And then we get our, what are we doing, 16 this year, Ham?
No, well, we have 14, okay, and then there's a last chance qualifier race for anyone that aren't making it. So, and the top 2 get into the bracket of 16.
Yep. And then the tournament kicks off proper, and I don't have the seed loaded up with those flag sets, but Possum initially pitched the flag set to us, and he's like, "Talk me off this bridge," because he picked some really chaotic stuff, and I was like, I like it as it is, but I did offer a couple because he had it on Chaos Enemizer, which there's some pretty nasty wombo combos you can get with that randomization of enemy attacks that I was just like, that's just not fun to run into in a tournament. That would be kind of lame. So let's change this to balance expert for sanity reasons. But we actually vetted seeds a little differently this year. Normally it's like a small committee, like a handful of us, and we pitch this the flag sets to each other, and we do like a very like 3 or 4 person test group, and yeah, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good, cool. And then we send it out into the wild and we get ready for the tournament. And this year I was like, let's get some other runners involved. So I actually roped in some previous year champions / high placing individuals, like top 3, top 4 kind of folks. And I was like, I brought them into a Discord room and I was like, hey, would you all be interested in testing out the flag set for this year's tournament, since you all are very experienced and very knowledgeable individuals? And they were all for it. Some couldn't do some proper testing because they were on vacation and just didn't have access, but a lot of them provided their feedback, which huge shout outs to everybody who gave us feedback on the flag sets. I think everybody, it was initially like, this is looking kind of weird, but everybody put their hands on it, eventually loved it. I think we only had 2 major changes. We adjusted 2 settings. Initially, we didn't have companions shuffled. They're like, no, make this a little crazier. Like, turn it up a little bit more. Like, make it a little more wild.
Of course.
So now we have
Lean into
companion
it.
shuffle extended turned on. Yeah. And then we changed the enemizer. And that was it. Those were the only 2 flag sets changed. So Possum really kind of hit the nail on the head with that initial pitch. And at first, everybody, we were so used to having like hour to hour and a half long seeds for the tournament. We're like, is this too fast? And it's like, well, this is a speed gaming tournament, so
Right.
speed being the name of the game. So some of these seeds have been clocking in at like 40 minutes.
Oh wow.
Some of them are really
Very
fast
impressive.
for this game. So I'm excited. I think everybody's been having a blast from them. And I think, if you've ever been part of a flag set designing committee, the first objective should be fun. The second objective should be, is it competitively viable? I think if you flip-flop it, you tend to have some really frustrating flag sets, which is not fun to play.
Yeah. Oz, we wouldn't know anything about making flags, would we?
Well, I mean, that was the flag set that just wouldn't go away.
I have it on good authority that it's still not going away. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, please, dear God. I swear, if the Fanian ladder comes up with this again.
I mean, I will say, if you're ever curious about the stuff we cooked up in prior years for Speed Gaming Live, every year the tournament flag set gets uploaded to the randomizer site as a preset.
As a preset, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we have all the way back to 2022. Oh yeah, no.
Nice.
So it's been a little over 3
Yeah.
years. God, has it been that long?
Well, 2022 is a bit bare bone at this point, but it's still pretty fun.
No, Winter WT24 needs to go away. It's gonna go away forever.
I mean, it's fun.
It's yes, Jake.
Someone
more
likes
eights. More eights. Mm.
I just like the meme behind it now. But yeah, so we put the link into chat a bit ago, but if someone were like wanting to learn this, wanting to go into it, obviously we just talked about this new tournament or the new player thing coming up. Is the Discord the best place? Is it like a new player channel on it? How would they like reach out to say, I'm starting, I'm lost?
Absolutely. So if you go back to the website really quick, there is a menu on the left-hand side and the little sandwich button. And yes, if you work in IT, that is the technical term. It's called a sandwich button. It's the 3 lines. I don't like it. I didn't make up the name. That's just what it's
I was
called.
told it's called a hamburger menu.
Yeah, hamburger menu, sandwich button.
thing.
Both are interchangeable. But it opens up that black menu on the left-hand side there, and we have a link that's being flashed right now to our community Discord. That is the best place to hop in and get exposed to the randomizer and everything that the community is doing in terms of events. And I will say that I personally have done my best to try to curate a new player room. So what that room does is it ventures to link resources sourced from other members of the community, whether it be, chest guide for all the chest locations or enemy stats. Exerum, I believe, is the one who created our spreadsheet, which you can literally reference, and it's a very nicely put together spreadsheet, might I add. It has like enemy pictures and like all their stats and what they're weak to, what they resist, and then 10 came in behind him and said, hey, let me add a feature to this. And so he made it, because we can shuffle enemy stats, he made it to where you can actually do that on the spreadsheet. So you'll see a range of HP and other stats that the enemies have, and that'll change in the Excel spreadsheet or
very
Google
helpful.
Sheets. Yeah, super helpful. There's also a tutorial put together by Possum, which helps for like first time players, like kind of see how routing works and what a standard flag set route should look like. And then we didn't talk about it in the settings, but this randomizer automatically applies a patch to your ROM every time you generate a new seed, which is MSU1 compatibility. And if you're not familiar, what MSU1 patches do is they make it to where your Super Nintendo ROMs can play CD quality audio. So essentially, imagine someone took a PlayStation soundtrack and slapped it into a Super Nintendo. That's what an MSU1 patch does. And so if you know how to configure an MSU1 sound file patch, you can literally just rename your folder, slap it in your MSU1 sound file, and just go to town with custom tracks on Mystic Quest if you are into that kind of thing.
Nice.
Every now and again for stream or tournament, I'll do something cheeky, like throw some Rondo Blood music in for like the band
Nice.
or, a boss fight or something, or, Mega Man X where applicable.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So the MSU1 stuff is really fun to play with. I think, I mean, I'm not sponsored or anything, but I think the best place to get into that kind of thing, if that sounds interesting to you, is zeldix.net. Really great resource just on how to do patches and how to get started. They have a great library of resources for doing that kind of thing.
Nice. Oh, do we see a final boss here?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to blink?
Oh,
I didn't attack him.
I blinked.
Yeah. I say I blinked like twice now. He's still not dead.
There we go. I forgot to attack. So yeah, this was a self-destruct seed. I ran it for the memes. So when you get to the boss, he's free. He just blows himself up, and his HP is always so high that it actually overflows your HP value. So you have like 13,000 HP if you notice there, and then he dies in like one shot. So
Yay! Winning.
right? The replayability has been so fun, and like I love when a community embraces the meme, and just because sometimes that's the funniest and like most chill stuff you can do. Like fire up a self-destruct seed and just have every enemy blow up on you. And at first it's a puzzle and a bit of a struggle, but then you get to the boss fights, the big like 4 fiends. Like imagine if you went up the Kraken and he self-destructed, kill one of your party members, and then just went away. Like it's free it's free real estate. Like that's what it is. He's like, awesome. This is such a non-issue now.
I was gonna say he technically does half it. He'll kill your white mage quite quickly. I mean, if you brack him next turn, it kind of, yeah.
Yeah, imagine taking out the waiting of Brack. It's just like he just does it himself. It's like, cool. For the cost of one white mage, I too can get through this fight every time.
You don't have to sell Fizzle any harder. You don't have to sell him.
I was gonna say Fizzle's already very happy with his choices.
But yeah, no, it's been such a great time in the community. I can't gush enough about it. Like even if you go back to the website, we recently had one of our awesome community members, Nutmeg. They made that logo. It used to just be, we took Mystic Quest, like the original like title screen font and put it up there and upscaled a little bit. But Nutmeg, being the awesome talent that they are, drew that up for us for last SGL, and then gave us permission to just make that the official logo of the randomizer.
Fantastic.
And just so many talented people, like all the spriters, like There have been some amazing sprites, like the giant metal like robot skeleton boss from Contra is a true form of Dark King. There's, like you saw Super Wario. There's just some really obscure but cool references sprinkled in there, and then, for the speedrunners who might get PTSD after joining the randomizer, there's Behemoth makes a return from the Hill of Destiny. He could be a true form of Dark King. So that was my little request, and I'm glad that got added. But there's just always something new around the corner. Someone's always working on something. We recently just had a crossover event with a community member who ran the randomizer for an I Want to Be the Guy themed marathon.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So they reached out and had some help with getting the kid sprite working for Ben, complete with little pixel gun and everything. So it's always something new and always something great coming through the community, and it's still relatively small, but it's growing every day, and it's nice to see that in person. See that happen right before you.
Very cool. Very cool. Well,
Very,
we
very.
want to continue showing as much as we can here, but like anything else you want to shout out about it? I know you've been going a lot here, but like we've talked about how to get into the Discord. We've talked about how to play the game. Like there's just a lot here, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely something that's super awesome, and it's super. I would say, I want to say it's super easy, but I also come from an IT background, so whatever's super easy, quote unquote, to me is
Yeah.
Right.
might be a little challenging for someone who's not as tech savvy. So I mean, shout outs again to the new player room. I just curated, but folks have put up guides on how to get an emulator set up and how to find, once you find a legally obtained copy of the ROM, how to get it loaded into the randomizer site and generate your first seed. And we have a couple different, I don't even know what the sprite is. Wow. But we have a couple different couple different emulators preferred by the community, but most of them will run the game just fine. And it's, getting in is as easy as picking a flag set and going. Just, choose a preset from the drop down, plug and play. And then as you get into the more complex stuff, as you start to mess with settings, I would say don't hesitate to reach out. Like, we have a seed report room for folks who are stuck. You can also use general. That's, a great way to reach out to folks and kind of see level 5 Tristan with white. Good gracious, that man stacked this seed. Sorry. Anyways, everybody got white. What is this? I can't get this in tournament. Can I pre-order this seed? Please?
Too late. You use your luck.
I used my luck. It's already been
gone.
blown. It's gone.
You can
Petrified
type in
didn't
the
roll
seed
into
number,
anything cool.
Quietly type it in when you
Right?
roll next time.
But yeah, no, it's definitely still entry level, I would say. Like Mystic Quest, you can up the complexity. It's still very beginner friendly though, and I would say if you have a friend who's even remotely interested in running a randomizer and they like RPG flavored randomizers or just RPGs in general, I would say pitch them the Mystic Quest randomizer. Like, I would, no joke, fire up a flag set, a very beginner friendly flag set, and play alongside them. Basically be their Sherpa and play with them in Discord. Like, talk about the seed as you're going, play alongside them is a really great way to do it. Or Jay, shout outs. You could do, oh my God, I really am blowing all my luck just super early doing a demo here. It's gone forever.
Yep.
You could do Archipelago, which we didn't get a chance to talk about.
Oh yeah.
The randomizer is officially endorsed by Archipelago. You can find it on their Archipelago site. It's supported. And like full compatibility. So you could be playing Chrono Trigger and Donkey Kong and Mystic Quest all in the same mix on an Archipelago server.
Great way to play with
shout out
friends who
to,
may not have same entrance. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to gush about Archipelago for a second?
Well, just to say that Alcav did the programming for porting to Archipelago, so this wouldn't be possible without him.
Yeah, and same thing with the Enemizer. So, Oipo, I believe, was the one who initially designed the Enemizer. Is that right?
Right.
So, community member Oipo literally had the idea of, hey, what if we can randomize enemy attacks and design the initial setup for the Enemizer, and then Ham's just kind of built on it from there. But a lot of some of our best features have been community sourced, and we still have people from time to time use the bugs in development room to pitch new ideas, which I say, if you've got an idea or a feature that you want to see implemented, pitch it in that room. Maybe talk to Ham, because you're only one man. Maybe talk to, like, if you're interested, talk to Ham and see if you can either try to develop it on your own to help implement it in the randomizer, or see where to start on that, because I don't think you'll shoo away any help where it's offered.
Yeah, I mean, I'll listen to every suggestion for sure. I mean, it's been pretty much a solo project, though, mostly. There hasn't been a lot of people that really contributed past the other two. So, but yeah, if anyone wants to do their part, there's spares for that.
Yeah, and I mean, you could find the code for the randomizer on
Right.
like a GitHub, right?
Yeah. There's a link on the rendo to the GitHub page. It's a mid license, so everyone is free to just fork and go to town with it.
Yeah, I mean, we what was it, for one event? We all dove in as a community. There's like 6 of us. We were asking questions like, how do the quest objectives work? And so we were like firing up the GitHub, and like some of us can tangentially read code. Like, I can't code by any means, but I can read enough of it to understand what's going on. So we're scouring the GitHub, like, how are the objectives set up, and what's medium, and what's a hard objective, and what, like, how are the variables set up? And it's like all right there on the GitHub. Like, we found it, we answered it ourselves. So I mean, shout outs to you, Ham, for making that like publicly available knowledge. It's been such a huge help. Just being able to get in, and if you want to get into the nitty gritty and figure out how things work on the back end, it's just there.
And thankfully, it's still programmed in C#. I can read that.
Right? If it was anything else, it'd be like, it's gonna struggling
Oh,
here, the syntax.
I mean,
Python, no
read it,
thank
I
you.
just
I'm
can't tell you what it
good.
does.
I can tell you what it does. Thankfully.
Yeah. So it's I think honestly one of the best starting games in terms of community and accessibility, because of just how welcoming the community is. Just like how great it is to be able to come into a Discord and ask questions and not be like, oh, you don't know this? It's like, yeah, no, I've said this 1,000 times, but here you go. Or I'll tell you again, or I don't know. Let's figure it out together. That's been my favorite answer, is like, we'll come up with like, how does this work? And someone will be like, I have no idea. Let's find out. And everybody's just super into doing that. So that's been really nice.
It's nice. Well, I think we're gonna try to wrap this thing up here a little bit. So, if you guys have any
Yeah.
I know like final thoughts on it, anything else? We've just gone through a lot of it here. We've got a little bit of housekeeping to do at the end of this, and then we'll call it a night.
Yeah, I want to say shout outs to Ham first off, because I think without him being the dev he is, and like the community support member he's been, I don't think I would have stuck around for as long as I have to rep the game and kind of run it for as long as I have. Thanks for always thinking of cool new features to add on and make the game just that much more fun to play. And shout outs to everybody who's been stepping up and helping with other community events. I've been trying to get us branched out more into stuff, but there's been like old standbys like Speed Gaming Live, and everybody's been super welcoming and getting me involved in that as an admin, and getting me onboarded to help set up those kinds of events. And there's always some new folks coming in. It's like, hey, can we do this? Hey, can we do that? So for everybody who's expressed interest in growing the community and getting more events out there, huge shout outs. I couldn't think of doing all that stuff on my own, let alone come up with some of the ideas that some really creative folks in the community have come up with. And thank you two for having us on here, because
Oh.
I think there's still people out there who don't know that this exists. So to be able to get out here and, put out the good word, so to say, is always a pleasure.
Oh, we are always happy to do it. Always happy to spread the word of another great randomizer. That's what we're here for.
What about
Damn,
you, Ham?
You're about up, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, the community has been great. Yeah, and a lot of this stuff when I've been possible without everyone. So it's been great to see all the enthusiasm for the rendo and people just playing with it. And yeah, thank you guys for bringing us up, bringing us in on the show, and yeah,
It's been fun.
For sure. And yeah, definitely. And if you're interested in the Speed Gaming Live tournament that we've been talking about, I would say hop into ffmqrando.net, join the community Discord, and start getting involved in the flag sets. They're openly available on the Discord as we speak. If that sounds a little too intimidating for you, maybe look into some of the new player programs that are being run right now. And I can also say that we are looking to start like a new player tournament post SGL season. So almost like a Duckling Derby for Mystic Quest. So stay tuned for that. There's definitely going to be more incentive to grow our newer player base, especially as we continue to grow and expand and see new community members come in. I don't want them to be floundering around on their own. I want them to be able to get involved without too much of a roadblock. So hopefully to get that started up here soon after the tournament.
Nice.
Fantastic.
We're going to let you play out here just a little bit. I don't have a good scene to cut out to the other two, but we do have a couple just quick housekeeping things here before I think Oz might be up past his bedtime a little bit.
I mean, okay, fine, fair enough. The Atlantic time zone does suck. I won't argue with you.
Nah, you're all good.
It's a problem.
But we've got a couple our co-op tournaments just finishing up, so lots of things going on there on the FFR Discord. We've got, I believe, a third place match going to happen tomorrow evening. So some Gundams are going to take off some tech crews, and don't fight me, Fizzle. It's a Gundam. It's Gundam shaped. Why not Gundam shaped?
You're going to start some stuff, right?
I know, I'm doing it on purpose. And then
I know.
I think finals are trying to get scheduled sometime this weekend. Last I looked, they were still trying to figure out an exact date on it, but you can be expecting the last little bit of our FFR co-op bingo happening probably this weekend into early next week. Also coming on up, we have our Lefanian Ladder League, whatever you want to call it. Season 6.
It's a ladder. We've been over this
soon. Assuming my schedule works out, I'm hoping to have all the rule set for it and stuff figured out by the end of the week. So everyone who's watching has permission. If you don't see a rule set on by Saturday, start pinging me. Friday night, I've got nothing, but start doing it on Saturday.
I'll start. Well, see, is that Saturday your time or my time? Because my Saturday is earlier than yours.
Well, let's see. When your Saturday begins, I'll probably be out a bonfire cookout with my high school. So
still gonna ping you.
Do it. So
Will do.
That should be coming up all soon, and then we're gonna get into the rest of our fall season. So that's all I've got on. Thank you, Franklin. Oz, take us on out.
All right. Once again, I want to say thank you to our viewers. We couldn't do this without you. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you to the FFR community for allowing us to continue to do this. We are quickly actually approaching the end of season 2 and the start of season 3, which
ridiculous.
I gotta say, I did not expect we would have this much content, nor that they would let us keep doing it. However, that's great. Once again, thank you to the Mystic Quest Randomizer community. We really appreciate having you both on to talk about it, to demonstrate it. It's fantastic. I know a lot of my youth was spent renting that from the video store and finding out the save feature was bugged. That was great. Lost a lot of progress. Almost lost my mind a few times. But anyways, with that, I will say that myself and Jay Scheidel will probably be back next week, I assume, unless something goes horribly wrong, like, I don't know, another internet outage.
Hey,
These things
It held up
these things
tonight. I can
happen.
say it now.
It did. We didn't want to jinx it, but we did. We did have to go back to the season 1 retro. And yeah, thank you once again, everyone, for the support. Check out FFR. Check out the FFR Discord. Check out the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer Discord. We will see you once again all back here next week. I will say, with that, I have been one half of your hosts with the most in this humid but nice coast, saying goodbye to you, and we will see you all in the next round.
See ya.